Today we are going to learn about chapter number 9, gravitation. So here, before starting to this chapter, we must know about what is gravity, what is gravitational force, and how this force exerts on the object. So all these are the important questions which we can come across. So most rarely everyone knows what is gravity. So here, gravity is a force which binds an object to the earth. Object is being bound to earth with the help of gravitational force. To know more about gravity and gravitation, let's start out with the chapter. So here we have learned about motion of object and force as cause of motion. So here we have learned about the motion of object and forces as the causes of motion. We have learned that a force is needed to change the speed or direction of motion of an object. Here, already in the previous standard, like in 8th standard, when you came across chapter force, so there we learned about force can make different changes. Like force can make the direction of the object to change, it can make the shape of the object to change, or it can increase the speed. So these are the different things which a force can make. So here in this chapter we are going to read about new kind of force, that is nothing but gravitational force. So here we always observe that an object dropped from a height falls towards the earth. So obviously we all know that whenever we drop any object from certain height, it always falls towards ground only. So this in Newton's experiment we came across. When Newton was sitting under a tree, he found that the apple was dropped from the tree. Then he got surprised. Why the apple is falling towards the earth? Why don't it go towards sky? Then he concluded that as the earth is having gravitational force, so that force is making the apple to fall down. So he got that idea and then he gave the law. So here we know that all planets go around the sun. So here the different examples are given. The first one, when any object falls, it always falls towards the ground. Second one, planets are revolving around the sun. So why the planets are revolving around the sun? There must be certain attractive force between the sun and planets. So as the sun is attracting the planets, so the planets are revolving around the sun. The moon goes around the earth. So here the moon is rotating around the earth. So here how the moon is revolving around the earth? That is also because of the gravitational force only. So there must be some force acting on the object, the planets and on the moon. Isaac Newton could grasp that the same force is responsible for all these things. So here whatever these movements are happening, Isaac Newton concluded that there must be force which is acting on the object, which are making them to stay binded together. So this force is called gravitational force. So what is gravitational force? It's nothing but an attractive force which makes the things to get bounded together or to make the things stay together. That is gravitational force. That is like if suppose any heavy object is there, it is pulling the light object towards it, or the earth is pulling the object towards it, sun is pulling the planets towards it. So all these are because of gravitational force which the planets are having, or which the stars are having, or the celestial bodies are having. So because of that force only they are together. So in this chapter we shall learn about gravitational force and the universal law of gravitation. So here we are going to read about what is gravitational force and what is universal law. Why we call it as universal law? Because it is applicable for all the objects. So as it is applicable for each and every object, we call it as gravitational law. We shall discuss the motion of object under the influence of gravitation, gravitational force on the earth. We shall study how the weight of the body varies from place to place. So we are going to learn about mass and weight also in this chapter. We shall also discuss the conditions for object to float in liquid. So here how the objects will float, that is we are going to learn a new topic, that is buoyance force. Why the object floats on water. Now let's start out with the first topic, gravitational force. So what is gravitation? We know that moon goes around the earth. An object when thrown upward reaches a certain height and then falls downward. So this you might have experienced while playing with ball. We throw ball. The ball will move to certain height and again it will come back. It will fall down. So here why all these are happening? Nothing but due to gravity. Otherwise the ball could have gone in the space. So here it's said that when Newton was sitting under a tree, an apple falls on him. The fall of the apple made Newton start thinking. He thought that if the earth can attract an apple, can it not attract the moon? Is the force the same in both the cases? Now he started to analyze, like, as the apple is being attracted by the earth, is there any force which is making the moon to get attracted? And by thinking deep on that and by making many researches, he came to conclusion that there is a force which is making the things to get binded. He conjugated, he considered that the same type of force, that is finally he concluded that same type of force is responsible in both the cases. He argued that at earth, at each point of its orbit, the moon falls towards the earth instead of going off in a straight line. So it must be attracted by the earth. But we do not really see the moon falling towards the earth. So here, as he saw that apple was falling towards the earth, but the moon is not falling towards, it is being attracted only. So why this is happening? Then again the thinking got started. So there must be some other force also which is attracting moon and balancing it in between earth and sun. Now let's try to understand the motion of the moon by recalling activity. So here in activity 7.11, that activity 9.1, we can see that a boy is holding a ball. He tied a stone to a thread and then he started rotating it. So how the stone is being rotated? When he rotate the stone, when he will rotate the stone, he will find that when he will leave it, it will fly out to far out place. So here take a piece of thread and the small stone at one end, hold the other end of the thread and whirl it round as shown in the figure. Note the motion of the stone. So here the stone is undergoing circulatory motion, that it is moving in a circle. Along with that, then when it is released, release the thread. Again note the direction of the motion of the stone. So when the stone is released, it will move in a tangential direction. So what is tangential direction? Tangential direction is perpendicular direction. So when the stone is left out, it will move perpendicular. Making a perpendicular, it will fly out. So that is, it will make a tangent and being released. Before the thread is released, the stone moves in a circular path with a certain speed and changes direction at every point. The change in direction involves change in velocity or acceleration. The force that causes this acceleration and keep the body moving along a circular path is acting towards the center. So here a force is there which is making the object to move in a circular direction and pulling that object towards the center. So that force which pulls it towards the center is called centripetal force. You can underline that, centripetal force over. What is centripetal force? When the object is in motion, in a circular motion, there will be a force which will make the object to move towards the center or to get pulled towards the center. That central attractive force is called centripetal force. In the absence of this force, the stone flies off along a straight line. So as I said, like the stone, In the absence of this force, the stone flies off along straight line. This straight line will be tangent to the circular path. So you can see in the diagram, tangent to a circle. So as I told, here there will be a tangential force. Tangent is nothing but a perpendicular to the center. A straight line that meets the circle at one and only one point is called tangent to the circle. Straight line ABC is tangent to the circle at the point B. So here tangent is nothing but a line which joins a circle at only single point. And if we drop a line from the center, it will be perpendicular. Okay. So here, due to the centripetal force, when the stone is left out, it will move in a tangential direction. Now the motion of the moon. So the motion of the moon around the earth is due to centripetal force. So as the centripetal force is acting on the moon, so moon is moving around the earth. The centripetal force is provided by the force of attraction of the earth. So there are two kinds of forces. One is the centripetal force and the other one is gravitational force. If there were no such force, the moon would pursue a uniform straight line motion. So here, if no centripetal force is there, no gravitational force is there, moon could not have rotated around the earth. It could have a straight uniform motion. It is seen that a falling apple is attracted towards the earth. Does the apple attract the earth? If so, if do not see the earth moving towards an apple, why? So here one more question can be there. Why the apple is being attracted towards the earth? Why don't the earth move towards the moon, towards the apple? So here, according to the third law of motion, so as we came across Newton's three laws of motion, if you remember, recall the previous chapter, there we came about the third law, to every action there is equal and opposite reaction. The apple does not attract the earth, but according to second law of motion, for a given force, acceleration is inversely proportional to the mass of the object. Okay, if you recall the second law of motion, there we got the formula of F is equal to ma. Okay, F is equal to ma, and from there acceleration is inversely proportional to the mass of the object. So here F is equal to ma, then mass will be F upon a. So we can say that acceleration is inversely proportional. So acceleration is inversely proportional to mass. The mass of apple is negligible. Negligible is small compared to that of the earth. So we do not see the earth moving towards the apple. So if suppose any question is made in the exam, like two objects are given, one is heavy and other is light. Light object will always move towards the heavy, but the heavy object will never move towards the light one. They can ask like, why don't it follow the Newton's third law of motion? To every action there is equal and opposite reaction, that when the heavy object is pulling the light object also must pull it. But this is not happening. Why this is not happening? That is as per the second law. Here mass is inversely proportional to acceleration. If more mass will be there, less will be the acceleration. Thus apple will never pull the earth, only it is being pulled by earth. In our solar system, all the planets go around the sun. By applying the same way, we can say that there exists a force between sun and planets. From the above fact, Newton concluded that not only does the earth attract an apple, the moon, but all objects in the universe attract each other. So from this all observations, he concluded that it is not only like the earth and moon attracting each other, but each and every object on the earth, they attract each other. And from there he gave the universal law of gravitation. So let's start out with the universal law of gravitation. Okay, in this chapter we have very few topics to learn. So the first main important topic, what is gravity? So before starting out with the chapter gravitation, we must know what is gravity. So gravity, it is a force which binds the object to earth. Because of the gravity, every object is bonded to earth. Now Newton has given a law of gravitation. So instead of going with all the topics in detail, whatever the important topics are there, that we are going to cover out. So in the Newton's law, in this chapter, the first important topic is Newton's law of gravitation. So what does this Newton's law of gravitation states? So as per Newton's law of gravitation, every object in this universe, let two objects are there of mass m1 and m2, and they are being separated by the distance d. So as per Newton's law of gravitation, force between the two objects is directly proportional to product of their masses and is inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. So this is first equation. The next one is second equation. If we combine them, we can write it as F is proportional to m1 m2 upon d square. So whenever we get any proportional sign, to remove it we need to use a constant. So let the constant be g. Now F is equal to g m1 m2 by d square. Now here m is representing mass of the earth and d is representing radius of the earth. As all the values are known, we can find out the value of g. G is a constant, but we can find out its value by applying all the values of the given terms. G will be having the cross multiplication f d square upon m1 m2. If we put out all the values, we get the value of g as 6.67 multiplied by 10 raised to minus 11. Now how to write about unit? So here the first one is force. Unit of force is Newton. The second one is distance. Radius is given. So meter square. Here mass is there, which is in denominator. So upon kg square. So thus the unit of gravitation is Newton meter square per kg square. How we got this unit? Newton for force, distance meter square, and here masses are there, twice the mass, so kg square. So this is the unit of gravitational constant. The value and unit both are very important, and then moreover this is constant, so this value remains constant everywhere. So this is what the Newton's law states. This can be of 4 marks question, sometimes 2 marks question, where they will ask like state and derive Newton's law of gravitation, where we will be writing the Newton's law. Every object in this universe attracts every other object with a force which is directly proportional to product of their masses and is inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. If we combine both, F is proportional to m1 m2 by d square. Thus F is equal to g m1 m2 by d square, where g is nothing but gravitational constant. To get the value of g, we have the cross multiplication. So g is f d square upon m1 m2. If we put out all the values, we get the value of g as 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. So have we got this Newton meter square per kg square? Newton for force, for distance meter square, and for mass kg square. As twice the mass is there, so kg square. So this is very important topic which you need to learn very properly.